Hi, welcome. It's Tuesday. So today's question, what makes me feel alive? So our question is what makes me feel alive? So or the question really is, are you doing more of the things that keep you alive, so that keep you moving forward, or are you doing more of the things that make you feel alive? So they're really helping you lift out of yourself, that you're moving forward, that you feel passionate. I would say that oh I never really thought it. I'm not a techie person, but all of this kind of getting cameras up, getting things to work automatically is all kind of making me feel a lot more alive than just sitting down and trying to get things done and just tick boxes. I never really enjoyed just being in spreadsheet mode all the time. It was more about doing things, and it's something that's been really coming up for me, particularly over the last few days, in terms of my need to really feel valued and feel that I'm involved in things that motivate me more, and to kind of look at how I'm being motivated in relationships as well, so that I feel more congruent to the environment I'm operating in and how I'm moving forward with my business, whether I'm just falling back on doing things that keep it moving forward, or am I doing things that make me feel like this is a growing adventure, that it is a creation that I'm starting to bring into the world that is starting to make sense? So for many of you, you know that I've spent, and many of you on this or in the group, you know, are entrepreneurial or creative or have your own businesses. And particularly for women, there I found this such a profound journey of creating something, kind of looking at what it actually means and looking at it as a way to express creativity, that I wanted to make me feel alive, that I want to feel like I'm involved in life. And that has meant that there's been a period of time before COVID, I would say there's been a period of time before COVID where I kind of removed myself from an environment, or I was removed from environment, whatever way you want to look at it, where I found that I was kind of not getting on the whole hierarchical way of doing things and wanting to do stuff in a more kind of community orientated, where I felt valued. So using the story back in 2012, being a director in a company, I did feel valued for many things, but as I was going through it, I was questioning my own values of what was I really bringing into creation that I wanted to achieve, and how was that going to look in the environment that I was working in, where I could find more answers in the environment that I was sailing in, that I could see where I wanted to go. It made me feel more alive. It made me feel like I was creating and solving problems, where I was finding over a period of time in the work environment that was created, and it works for other people, it just didn't necessarily work for me as a more creative person, and also my values didn't really quite align to how people were working. I'm far more subjective, bigger picture, holistic, and people orientated, and I just found that I was working in an environment that didn't always value that, and so there was a bit of a clash within that culture. So I had to make the decision that I needed to take a step back and ask myself that question: was I just going to keep myself alive, or was I going to actually feel alive? What was going to look for that? And that first relationship really started with myself. And one of the key things that I really noticed was is that I was choosing the relationships I was in, and some of those relationships I was choosing to be in weren't for my best interest. They weren't making me feel good. I might have thought I was doing well, but I wasn't feeling that I was doing well. So I had to take responsibility for that and actually look at myself, look at my self-esteem, look at my worthiness, kind of go back a bit and take a step back, not too much. We can't go back and change too much of history, but actually look at maybe some of the patterns that I was creating in my relationships and my partnerships, and what I was going to choose to change about them. So I talked about patterns before, and I came across something last night that I had, and I just wanted to explain what a pattern is. So a pattern is a learned compulsive, automatic, or reactive behavior. It's just something we do. We don't even think about it. We are only 5% of our brain is conscious, 95% of our brain is unconscious. So we are acting on very many unconscious messaging. It's a way of being. So you can either be open or you can be closed. You can withdraw in certain instances because something happens. It can be a way of acting, whether you're criticizing somebody, you're interrupting, or it's when you find that there's a certain trigger or a conversation coming up, you want to remove yourself. It can be a belief about ourselves, particularly a belief that we don't know where it's come from, like work hard, you must do X, Y, and Z if you want to succeed. There's not enough. That's another one. There's not enough. When we're saying there's not enough, then we probably mean we're not enough. But then how do we know we're not enough if we're here? And it can also be a compulsive feeling or mood. So you can find you can become frustrated, resentful, and feel that you lose your voice, that you're not being able to communicate about that. So you feel that maybe you have to numb those feelings. And how they live in us, how they operate, is that we do it to ourselves. So we've had a trigger, we've had experience, mostly between the ages of being born to about 25. We've got key stages of development, and by about 24, 25, we're psychologically developed. We do it to others, so we can do that pattern to ourselves. We can do it to others, show them behavior. We can attract people that will mirror that behavior or that kind of pattern that we get involved. So one of the things for me personally was I realized that I was in an environment when I was at work that very much mirrored an environment that had been quite, how do I put it diplomatically, through anybody who's dealt with dementia or Alzheimer's patients will know that they can go through stages, and it can be quite shocking, some of the stages that they go through. And I was quite young to have to, and I was young now, I might have thought I was old, but I was quite young, facing off to some of these behaviours that weren't being, wasn't intentionally coming from that person, but it was quite shocking for me that they would maybe raise their voice or some of the things that they would say. But what I found is that I kept trying to resolve that pattern by choosing to work in places that exhibited the same behavior, but maybe not in the same circumstances. And that was one of the keys for me, was when I was in an organization and somebody just made this blind statement, and I just thought, no, I'm not putting up with that behavior. I cared, but I cared more about myself at that stage, and I could see that I was just mirroring a pattern. I was choosing to resolve something that had been shocking to me at 10, 15 years earlier, but I hadn't quite brought it to my awareness or attention. And so we can put ourselves in that position where that pattern is playing out. So it's starting to it's not about ownership, saying I'm wrong or I'm bad or anything like that. It's about sometimes we have experiences in life that can put us in a position that we're looking to resolve them, that there's some part of us in our DNA, in our psychology, in our unconsciousness knows that we have been experienced to something that really took away our joy. It's the best way for me to describe it, in my opinion. Took away our joy, our happiness, made us a bit more guarded, removed us away from what we wanted to do in life, and yet at some point it's still tripping us up. We keep still self-sabotaging or falling over it or finding ourselves being in the same situation, just different characters. And part of that is the unconscious looking to resolve it in the relationships so that we can come to terms with it, accept it, and move on, so that we can learn from it and move on, so we can keep going around. And what I felt is that I was going, the way I was escalating was that problem was becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, that it was playing out, that I was kind of on a stage on my own, playing out my own pattern, kind of going, I haven't really quite resolved this, or I haven't quite got to what's going on. I haven't gone off on the track that really is hard to find. I've gone off on a track trying to resolve something in my conscious that I don't know, but these people are all reflecting it to me, and I have to take some responsibility for that. And one of the questions that I always had with my business was I hiding behind it to solve the pattern, or to kind of hide away from what I was engaging in the world, or was I meant to be an entrepreneur, business owner, and doing this? It was kind of one of the key things for me. We all need to be loved and valued. We all need to be in relationships that mirror and reflect back to us what we believe we are. It's questioning when we have put ourselves in relationships where we're not feeling that we're being reflected back, our self-esteem and our confidence, or learning to grow from them within that. So it's important to examine some of these patterns and do it in a really curious way. So questions that you can ask yourself, so for to take your pause today, is to, look at your partnerships, look at the relationships around you. Who are your role models? Are you repeating patterns? Do you find yourself engaging with the same type of person and having the same type of outcome, but it's not in a positive way? That can be an indicator of a pattern. And what all ways of being do you find from your family line? Trauma passes down 7 generations, or patterns of behavior pass down 7 generations. So if a generation is 25 years and you multiply that by 7, something that's happened 100 odd years ago could still be kind of working its way through the family. And this is part of what epigenetics is looking at as well, because the way the world worked is not the same way the world is starting to move in. The way the world was always set up is very much about fear-based. We need to survive, we need to all move together in a group, and kind of get up the top as fast up to the top of the mountain as possible. Where what we're starting to see with technology and the way, the Genesis report, Skills Commission, the research I've done is that we have to start dealing just with the present moment, really getting out of our heads, resolving any of these old kind of family patterns that kind of keep us away from the present moment, so that we can constantly navigate the changes ahead based on the present moment. And part of that is just recognizing, are there all ways of being within our family, within our friendship, that could be passed down through our mother line, because second or third generation of women really stepping in, finding their own voice, moving into a world that hasn't quite always been created for women, looking at different ways of working. How does that work? What do we need to resolve so that we can let go of the old that no longer serves us, and then really just work on those behaviors and patterns that do serve us, that are going to be new, and to kind of let that old go. And this happens in our business as well. So looking for our value and our self-worth within ourselves, and then moving into avenues of solving old patterns that are kind of dragging us into avenues that are not aligned to the truth of who we are, and then moving into what we want to do. And it's not easy work. I created something 8 years ago, thought 5 years ago it was going to move in a direction, and then realized that there was stuff. There was just stuff that I had to trudge through, and recognize. And it wasn't about going back and saying to that person, oh, you did this or you did that. It was resolving just my own feelings about it, resolving my own way of looking at it, so that I could just process whatever had arisen, and then move on and be curious about the rest, with those partnerships, and then just be curious about the partners I'm interacting with, and really balancing back into that feminine energy of watching what my thoughts are, getting in to see how I feel, recognizing I can move, watching that other people can do the same, and then just consciously being curious about it, so I can make choices that are going to be in the best interest of my well-being. And that might be to look at some patterns to be able to release them, so I can feel more alive, more moving in my worth, in my business, moving forward. Hope that all makes sense and that was useful. I'm going to leave it there. My name's Viv Bannigan and I'm the owner of Granuaile Limited. Granuaile is a bespoke training and mentoring company, and I work with creative and entrepreneurial women who may feel a lack of confidence, overwhelmed, and kind of confused about the next step in their journey, and they want to understand their unique landscape and start to take control of the reins, their journey to move forward in the future. And we do this by sharing with them on the map. If you'd like to know more about the map, I'm running a webinar on Thursdays. It's a class. It is about navigating change with intention, which is the first step in taking control back the reins of your journey. And we run that at 8 o'clock and 6 o'clock on Thursday, British summertime. I'm also delighted to announce that we will be launching the MAP program as a digital online program, and also a mastermind. So if you'd like to know more information, please do register even for the webinar. You can, then we'll make sure you receive the video, but you'll also be in the database, so we'll be able to send you more information. So that's me done for today. Remember, the first person one leads is oneself, mind, body and spirit. If you've liked this video, please like, subscribe, share, take care of yourself, and I will be back here on Thursday.